The night my wife left me for the man next door, the world didn't explode. It just went quiet. You ever hear that kind of silence? The kind that hums right before something breaks? Grant Keller buried his wife 5 weeks ago. Mine started baking him casseroles before the dirt even settled. Now his porch light burns through my window every damn night, her laughter spilling out like gasoline. And here's the part they won't believe. His daughter, Sutton, is in my kitchen right now, barefoot, wearing my shirt. I look straight into their ring cam and let it see everything they started. They stole my peace. I took back my fire. Because in Maple Glen, the grass isn't greener, it's soaked in guilt. You think you know betrayal? You don't. Not yet. Follow this story. Hit subscribe and don't look away. This silence is about to scream. Maple Glen looks harmless. Sun-faded flags, a dented mailbox with stickers, kids' bikes left on perfect grass. The HOA truck creeps by like it's timing our happiness. Inside, the AC hums steady, that hospital hush that makes a house feel clean and empty at the same time. I stand at the sink and wash the same pan again, chasing a shine that doesn't matter. Soap, water, circles. It gives my hands something to do while my head refuses to sit still. Then Lena crosses the room and the air changes. Vanilla bean, our old special scent, cuts through the Freon. It hits deeper than memory, like a warm coin pressed under the tongue. She sets a casserole on the counter and tightens her ponytail. Our eyes meet in the window's reflection, not in the room. That's new. She gives me the kind of smile you give a neighbor you don't want to disappoint and slides out the back door. Halfway across the grass, I watch her posture lift, like someone turned a dimmer up. It's subtle and cruel. My dish towel cools, then dries in my fist, leaving a pale line across the knuckles. Outside, metal lids clatter and soft voices gather, church ladies forming a quiet parade toward Grant's door. Vanilla lingers in my kitchen, and I realize something finally woke up on this street. It just isn't us, and once it wakes, it doesn't go back to sleep. Grant buried Marin 5 weeks ago. The casserole brigade does what it always does. Hot food, paper cards, soft voices, shorter sentences. Grief lives on our block like a stray dog. Everyone pretends not to feed it while setting bowls on the porch. Lena says he shouldn't eat alone. Second visit in 3 days. She carries that dish like an excuse with handles and steps over our property line without looking down. My phone glows. An assembly line of perfect couples scrolls past. Anniversaries, vacation toasts, still my best friend, typed under sunsets that never fail anybody. It's a catalog of what used to feel possible. My thumb hangs on our wedding photo, me in a suit that fit better in the mirror, Lena in a dress that made the room make sense. Back then my name lived in her eyes. Lately it lives in our Wi-Fi password. When does a marriage die? When hands stop touching, or when voices start saving their best tone for someone else's porch? Maybe it dies the first time you tell the truth to a reflection instead of a person. The porch light next door clicks on. Her laugh comes thin and young through the heat, a sound I haven't bought with flowers in a long time. Then my phone buzzes with a shared calendar alert I didn't make. Drop off, 6 o'clock p.m. Vanilla kisses the doorway again, stronger. I don't tell myself I'm paranoid, I tell myself I'm late. She starts just freshening up to pop next door. Powder, a quick flick of mascara, the soft click of a lipstick cap I haven't heard in months. The sundress is the easy kind. Yellow, small flowers, a breeze built into the fabric. Thin strap sandals, toes painted like she remembered they existed. Hair half up, the way she wore it when she still called me first. It's ordinary, which is why it lands like a punch. You heading over again? I keep it level, casual, like I'm asking about the weather. She doesn't look at me. She looks at the reflection of me in the microwave door. You're overthinking. The smile is nothing, and it hurts anyway. Her phone sits face down on the counter, screen pulsing through the case. One message, then another. It buzzes like a small animal that knows not to make a sound. She slides it away with 2 fingers, the way you move a bill you don't want to pay. I open the cabinet for a glass of water and catch the flowers I bought Thursday in the corner of my eye. Heads drooped, water cloudy, stems the color of old teeth. The room smells like vanilla and fatigue. She lifts the casserole like a pass and heads to the door. Want me to save you a plate? I ask. Don't wait up, she says, and means it. So I don't. I plan dinner. I make the salmon with honey glaze the way the recipe card remembers. Pan hot, oil whispering, that edge of sweet turning amber and sharp. I steam the asparagus until it gives but won't break. A candle burns low at the center of the table, cheap vanilla trying to pretend it belongs here. 2 plates, 2 forks. Her chair looks full until she sits. Then it empties again. She takes 3 bites, eyes on the corner of the room where our wedding photo used to hang. I'm tired, she says, the way a doctor says a word before a longer one. She rinses her plate like an apology you can't cash and leaves it in the rack to drip. I eat slow because there's no reason to hurry. The glaze turns from sweet to sugar and then to nothing. The candle tunnels. The house hums. The clock over the fridge ticks like a metronome for a band that quit mid-song. Every second is a thin blade dragging across the same spot on my neck. In bed, we lie back to back, 2 magnets flipped the wrong way. The ceiling feels colder than the sheets. I count the ticks, then the breaths, then the times I almost reach over and don't. Her phone glows through the fabric of the nightstand like a lighthouse that forgot who it's guiding. I'm tired, she said. Tomorrow will answer what of. Morning leans in sideways, the kind of Ohio light that makes dust look holy. Lena slides through it with another casserole, foil crimped tight like a secret. From the kitchen window, I watch the lawn between us turn electric. Grant's grass doesn't just look greener, it looks lit from beneath, like somebody's running power through his yard. She spots me watching and pauses 1 heartbeat. Then she's gone, crossing the line like it isn't there. The house hums, polite and empty. Coffee tastes like metal. I rinse the mug for no reason and open the bedroom closet to grab a clean shirt. There's space where space didn't used to be. Hangers spread like ribs, daylight showing between them. A half-inch gap becomes a mile if you stare too long. I shut the door. Open it again. Same subtraction. My chest sinks like someone sat down on it without asking. I try to breathe around the weight and can't. Vanilla drifts down the hall, thinner than last night, stubborn as a stain. Out back, a lid clanks at Grant's place and a soft chorus of comfort words rises. Bless their hearts, bless their appetites, bless the way grief feeds. I stand in the hallway and listen. No plates, no TV, no hairdryer, just the AC and my pulse. In houses like ours, silence has policies. When it gets this clean, it means a decision's been made. I go back to the closet and pull the door all the way open. No clatter from the sink, no canned laughter, the kind of quiet that makes you hear your own blood. Her side of the closet is a coastline after a storm, empty hangers turned sideways, a tide line of dust where shoes used to live. A sweater snag of thread hangs from nothing, pointing to no one. The drawer where she kept the good things, lace, satin, holds 1 bald sock like a joke that can't land. On the bed, a piece of paper folded with care, my name written like a form letter. I open it with 2 fingers because my hands don't trust me. I'm with Grant. Don't make this harder. That's it. 4 words, 2 orders. I wait for the rest that doesn't come and feel stupid for expecting paragraphs. The house swallows, and I go with it. Her perfume lives on the pillow for another minute. I press my face there and hate myself for it, then stand up too fast and the room tilts. There's no fight to pick, no speech to give, just a sentence with a period and a man standing in it. I'm with Grant. Not, I'm leaving. Not, I'm sorry. Location, not confession. I set the note down and it burns colder than fire. Next door, a door shuts, soft and confident. Reflex drags me to the window, to the view that answers everything I'm not allowed to ask. I sit on the bedroom floor with the note in my hand like it weighs a pound a word. Don't make this harder. It loops in my head until the letters stop meaning anything and just feel like pressure. I stand because sitting feels like surrender, drift down the hall like I'm walking inside a photo of my own house. Reflex drags me to the window. Grant's kitchen glows. Lena moves through it like she's lived there forever, barefoot, familiar, efficient. And then I see it. The robe. Not hers. Marin's. Deep burgundy, silk that used to catch the light at last year's barbecue when Marin laughed too loud and spilled wine and apologized to everyone at once. That robe lives on her now like a stolen skin. She reaches for a mug, turns just enough to catch me watching, and that bright new smile she's been practicing dies halfway across her face. My laugh comes out wrong, dry, ugly, half bark, half cough. It scares me a little. I taste metal. The robe hangs there like a flag planted on a grave. She didn't just leave me. She moved into the outline of another woman. The part of me that wants to break something looks for an excuse. The part that's still married looks for air. I fold the note once more than it needs, slide it into my pocket, and keep looking. If pain is a room, I've just found the doorframe. I'm about to walk through. Bare feet on warm grass feel like a dare. I step off my porch and cut a straight line toward theirs, a man walking the interstate shoulder because the middle would be too honest. Pebbles bite at my heels. The sprinklers kick on with that smug little hiss, arching water between the two houses like a joke only the block understands. I don't flinch. The spray catches my shins, beads up, runs cold. I keep going. Halfway across, I stop. That's the spot. The midpoint. The place where you decide what kind of man you're going to be next. I could bang on his door. I could ask to see the robe up close. I could say her name so loud it knocks pictures off their walls. My hands don't shake. My chest does. I count 3 breaths and feel my jaw unlock. I don't knock. I turn around and walk back the way I came, water spotting my legs, grass flattening under the same weight that woke me up this morning. The handle sticks when I pull the door. I shoulder it once, like a man choosing his battles in a war that's already over. Inside, the wedding photo waits on the mantel, glass too clean for the day. I pick it up, look at our faces, young, reckless, sure, and lower it face down. The thud is small and final. Silence settles in beside me, heavier than anger, sharper than mercy. If I'm going to explode, it won't be here. I fire up the mower just to drown my head. The engine's a cheap kind of mercy, loud, simple, dumb. I push straight lines into the grass until sweat runs salt into my mouth and the noise almost feels like relief. That's when I see her on Grant's porch, a young woman with sleep bruises under her eyes, an old college tee hanging off one shoulder, trash bag twisted in her fist like it owes her money. She doesn't fidget. She stares straight across the cul-de-sac like she's reading a sign only she can see. Then she turns and disappears into their dark hallway. I cut the engine and the neighborhood inhales. Birds remember they live here. A screen door taps somewhere. Janet shuffles past with her daily gossip power walk. "Who's that?" I ask, thumb at Grant's house. "Sutton," she says. "Grant's girl. Came back when Marin got real bad. Sweet kid, tough." She keeps moving, like she's late to an opinion. Sutton. The name sits in my mouth like a new coin. I picture the robe again, the porch light, the casseroles lined up like excuses. I tell myself it doesn't matter who anyone is anymore. Then I hear a soft clatter of bottles from their recycling bin, and the lie breaks a little. I roll the mower back into the garage and kill the light. The house hums, low and lonely. Something new just stepped onto our street, and tomorrow, I'm going to hear it breathe. Morning tastes like metal and leftover vanilla. I step out back and there she is, Sutton, parked on the bottom step with a steaming mug cradled two-handed, sleeves pulled over her knuckles. No makeup, hair in a careless knot, the kind of tired that writes itself on your bones. She doesn't look up when she says it. It still smells like her. I don't ask who. We both know the answer. I angle toward the basil planter like that was my plan all along, give us both the mercy of not facing each other. "You visiting?" I ask, eyes on the leaves. "Came back when Mom got worse," she says. "Stayed when she didn't." The steam lifts off her cup like a small ghost trying to remember a face. Silence does the heavy lifting. Somewhere a dog tags its collar against a fence, and the world pretends it's normal. I nod at nothing. "He keeping busy?" "He's fixing everything that isn't broken," she says. That way he doesn't have to sit still. The mug tilts, and I see the chip on the rim. She smiles without teeth. "You don't throw out a ghost." "No, you don't. You fold your life around it and pretend it's air." Her eyes finally find mine. Sharp, not cruel. Recognition passes like a current. We don't shake hands. We don't say sorry. We just share the same weather. And for the first time since the note, I'm not the only haunted thing on this street. We end up perched on the tired fence between our yards, that soft, splintered line that's held more secrets than nails. Late light skims the grass and stretches us thin, two shadows reaching without touching. Sutton tells me Marin used to hum off-key while she worked the crossword, stubborn on the long words, laughing when the boxes wouldn't cooperate. She says it like a confession, not a compliment. How the wrong note was the part that made it hers. I picture a coffee ring on yesterday's paper and a voice trying to stay. I match her with one of my own, Lena crying at a high school graduation that wasn't ours. Didn't know any names, still cried like somebody had just handed her a new heart. I used to love that softness. Lately it feels like a door I can't find the handle to. Our memories lean toward each other, and for a second they click, teeth on a zipper, sliding smooth. It hurts in that clean way, honest pain, nothing fancy. We sit there in the easy quiet that shows up when two people are done lying to themselves. The neighborhood thins out around us, sprinklers, a screen door, a dog tag on metal. I don't say I'm sorry. She doesn't either. We don't need it. We're just two witnesses to the same fire, cooling on the same line of wood. Then her gaze lifts past my shoulder, and whatever warmth we made out here snaps like a twig. They didn't fall in love, she says, voice flat enough to cut. They started in a graveyard. The words land and sit, no echo, just truth. I hold them a beat and hand one back. And they're planting roses in the dirt. We look at each other the way people look at storm clouds, calm on the face, braced everywhere else. Then we both look away, almost at the same time, like muscle memory from two different lives. Down the block, a GMC bell chimes as a truck door opens. The sound is small but carries like news. Sutton's jaw tightens, a clean line in the fading light. My chest does that stutter again, the body's way of marking an aftershock. I picture casseroles lined like offerings, that burgundy robe claiming a woman who can't protest, a porch light that never seems to burn out. The graveyard isn't a metaphor out here. It has an address. The truck pulls in, tires crunch, the engine dies stubbornly. Sutton's hand closes around a fence picket like it might float. We don't rehearse the next part. It's already been written by people who aren't sitting here. I taste metal again. The air feels wired. Grant steps into the doorway, keys spinning, sunglasses still on though the sun's mostly gone. The porch light blinks alive like it always does. And that's the moment I know. Whatever we've been whispering across this fence is about to be said out loud. I'm in the garage pretending to organize a life I can't lift. Coffee cans of screws, a tangle of extension cords, a toolbox that bites my thumb when I snap it shut. The air smells like oil and cut wood, a decent cover for a bad mood. Then glass pops somewhere behind the fence, clean, hard, final. I step out and find Sutton at the trash cans, a bottleneck in her hand like a handle on the day. They changed the sheets, she says, not looking up. Another breath. And gave away her jewelry box. It lands heavier than I expect. Sheets mean bodies. A jewelry box means a decision. Where? I ask. Donation bin at the church. Her voice stumbles once, then levels. She kept rings she never wore. He says they're just things. Just things. That's what people say when the meaning scares them. I nod like I understand and hate that I do. She tosses the broken glass into the can, hollow thud, conversation over. A dryer sheet floats out of the lid, clings to her wrist, a little ghost with nothing left to haunt. I don't touch her arm. I don't say sorry. I stand still and let it register. They're not grieving. They're repainting. The robe, the porch light, the casseroles, now fresh sheets and a missing box. Marin's memory is being tidied out of the room. Somewhere inside, a drawer closes, soft and certain. Sutton's breath evens. Mine doesn't. Tomorrow feels closer than it should. Did he talk about your mom when she was sick? I ask, as if the right question might loosen the knot. We're back by the fence, tools between us like neutral ground. He stayed busy, she says, fixing things, not himself. She shrugs like it's a weather report. The sun smears long across the yard, turning everything honest and unkind. I think of Lena's casseroles for half the neighborhood, volunteer lists, phone calls to people I've never met. Helping others, I say, not us. The words taste like I've been holding them in my cheek for months. waiting for a safe mouth to spit them from. We both laugh once, dry, short, no joy in it, the kind that keeps your face from breaking. A mower starts up 2 streets over and the sound arrives thin, like it already regrets traveling this far. He keeps the garage spotless now, Sutton says. Labels, shelves, new paint. He hasn't sat in the living room once. She sets her jaw. Says it feels used. That word hits harder than thunder. Busy is a disguise, but sometimes disguise becomes armor. That's a word that does too much work for 4 letters. I pick at a splinter on the fence until it comes away in my fingers. Busy is a good disguise, I say. It's also a good alibi, she answers. The porch light next door snaps on before the sun's even down. It shouldn't be that bright this early. We both notice. Neither of us looks away. Something about the timing tells me we've run out of places to hide. And that's when the line between grief and revenge blurred. The porch light next door pops on too early, like it's scared of the dark. Sutton stares at it a second, then asks, "You think they were already doing it?" No thunder, no drama, just a blade laid flat on a table. I hold the quiet until it feels honest. Yeah. She doesn't flinch. She reaches into a tote by her feet, pulls a cheap bourbon, cracks it open with a tired thumb. 2 plastic cups appear from nowhere. The pour is ugly and perfect. She hands me one, keeping her eyes on the fence line like a referee. "To the ghosts," she says. I raise mine. "To the grave diggers." We drink. It burns in the place prayers don't reach. Every swallow tastes like a promise we're not ready to name. My eyes shine but don't spill. Hers do the same. The air evens out around us, then sharpens, like the moment right before a stitch pulls skin together. Saying it out loud changes the weight of it. Not lighter, not heavier, just true in a way I can finally carry. She sets her cup on the fence post, a cheap little altar. "I'm done pretending this is an accident," she says. I nod, because accidents don't have porch lights and fresh sheets. Somewhere, their door opens and closes, soft as a secret. We say nothing, and in that silence, something else starts to move. Afternoon drops into that narrow slice of yard that Grant's kitchen window can't help but stare at. Sutton drags a towel there and lays out like she's clocking the sun. Bikini top, sunglasses, the kind of stillness that makes you look twice. She doesn't glance toward the house, doesn't need to. Some people watch the weather. Some people are the weather. I pretend to trim the hedge and feel the stare coming from their glass. A shadow slips across the blinds. Then Lena appears in the burgundy, Marin's robe, cup in hand, smile loaded and shaky. Our eyes catch for half a second. Or hers does that stutter it does now, like a skipped track. The robe hangs on her like a stolen memory. I don't wave, I don't blink. She retreats. Sutton rolls onto an elbow, not to pose, just to let the light do the math. The message is simple. We see you seeing us. A car door thuds somewhere down the block. A neighbor coughs. The day holds its breath. That night, my back gate clicks, and Sutton steps into my kitchen with a bottle tucked against her ribs. No makeup, bare feet, the same steady look from the fence. She sets the wine down like a plan. Let's give them something to talk about. I don't ask what that means. I already know. Whatever we've been avoiding just picked a side, and for the first time since the note, I want the next minute more than I fear it. For half a second, my brain grabs the wrong name. Grief does that, but it doesn't matter. It's Sutton, and she's wearing Marin's necklace. Silver, turquoise stone, the one that used to rest against a throat that laughed with its whole chest. Sutton steps into the middle of the yard like she's standing on a mark only the dead can see. "You like it?" she asks, chin tilted, no flinch. "Bold," I say, and mean it. Some words don't need more paint. At the back door, Lena appears in the burgundy robe and takes a half step back like the porch just moved. Her hand finds the frame without looking. I see the math working behind her eyes. What belongs to who, what's borrowed, what's stolen. Sutton doesn't perform. She doesn't pose. She just lets the sun hit the stone and then turns away, slipping into my kitchen like she's done it 100 times in a life she didn't get. The block holds its breath. Somewhere, the first pops from the lake arrive early. Fireworks practicing, like the town wants to make sure celebration still works. The sound skips across roofs and lands light on our street. Lena's mouth tightens. The necklace doesn't blink. I feel the line shift under our feet. And right there, under borrowed light and stolen names, grief finally finds its twin, revenge. By midnight, the sky will burn. Tonight, the ground does it first. Fireworks shake loose over the tree line, red, white, gold washing the street in borrowed courage. We're on my patio, close enough that our shoulders trade heat without asking. Sutton leans in, just a fraction, and the air remembers what bodies used to do. "You ever think what could have been?" she says, quiet enough to make the question land heavier. "All the time," I answer, because lying is too expensive now. Another burst blooms and rains itself out. Her profile is a clean cut in the light, strong where it needs to be, soft where it can't help it. We look at each other and the space shrinks until it's smaller than a breath. There's nothing ceremonial about it, no violin, no speech, just two people who got used up by the same lie, choosing a truer one. The kiss isn't slow. It's a live wire, heat, teeth, a little fear. I grab the edge of the table to keep the world steady. She tastes like wine and stubbornness. Somewhere across the grass, a door clicks, and for once I don't look to see whose. The sky keeps ripping itself open and stitching back together, and I realize I'm doing the same thing. We break for air and don't go far. Her forehead rests against mine. We both smile the same tired, dangerous smile. Whatever this is, it just crossed a line, and I don't want it back. Midnight knocks don't ask permission. 3 soft taps on the slider, spaced like a heartbeat trying not to wake a house. I pull the curtain with 2 fingers. Hoodie, too big. Bare feet, clean and stubborn on the deck. Sutton's eyes don't explain anything. They don't apologize either. "Let's give them what they deserve," she says. Not a dare. A verdict. There's a half second where my old life tries to speak. Then it doesn't. I thumb the latch and the door lifts enough to let night pour in. The fridge hum fills the room. Her sleeves swallow her hands. She passes me slow, a brush of cotton at my wrist like someone signing a receipt. We don't build a speech. We don't even build a plan. We build a silence that means yes, the kind that turns rooms into choices. Her hair smells like clean rain and something borrowed from yesterday. My name returns to my body like a key finding the right lock. We get close enough to feel each other breathe, and that's all the language we need. The glass fogs, the table scrapes. Somewhere a porch light pops on, late and offended. We ignore it. The world shrinks to the warm and the honest. When it's over, nothing in the house looks different. Everything does. We don't say goodnight. We say nothing at all. It says enough. Morning will collect the bill. Sun edges the blinds thin and white. Coffee clicks on by itself like it believes in normal. Sutton stands at my door with my t-shirt slung over her shoulder, sleeves cuffed high, face scrubbed of everything but decision. I walk her out, slow enough to look like we could be anything else. Across the grass, the trash lid lifts. Lena, one hand on the can, the other on the doorframe like the house might run. She sees the shirt first, then the bare shin, then me. 3 seconds. That's all. But it stretches long enough to fit a decade. First apartment, first fight, first time we said forever and almost meant it. Her mouth doesn't move. Her eyes do. The kind of flinch you only see if you know the old map. Sutton's smile is small and surgical, not cruel, precise. A thank you to no one. The necklace isn't on her today. The absence feels loud. Lena places the lid back like she's handling glass. No words, no scene. She just turns and disappears into Grant's kitchen, the door catching once, then sealing. The porch light blinks even though it's morning, as if habit can outrun daylight. I feel the neighborhood wake, sprinklers, birds, somebody's truck cough. My heart doesn't speed up. It settles. What was rumor now has a face. What was pain now has a witness. Across the way, a curtain twitches. Good. Let them watch. I stand in the kitchen with my hands shaking like I mainlined a gas station latte. The counter is clean, the kind of clean that feels like a dare. Sutton leans on the doorway, eyes steady, hair pulled through a hood like she's not sure if she's staying or leaving. Guilt? She asks, not poking, just measuring. Already did that part, I say. It sounds truer out loud than it did in my head. My mind flashes the old nights, backs turned, the mattress aboard her, her phone glowing through the drawer like a little lighthouse with no ships to save. I remember the way I learned to sleep near someone without touching them, how a marriage can train your body to fear its own reach. The dishwasher kicks on. The low churn evens the room like a heartbeat you can finally hear. I pull a breath I didn't know I was hoarding. It lands deep, under the ribs. The air tastes like lemon soap and whatever today is. I just wanted to be seen, I say, and it doesn't feel like begging. It feels like opening a window that's been painted shut. Sutton nods once, like a referee calling it fair. Then stop hiding where they can't see you. The machine hums steady, rinsing what it can. Outside, the morning sharpens. Tomorrow stands up straight, and so do I. Next day, Sutton lays a towel in the bright center of the front yard where the whole cul-de-sac has to look. Sun sits on her like a verdict. Sunglasses on, chin high, no apology. She stretches out the way cats do when they own the room. It's not a pose, it's placement. You can move furniture, you can't move a foundation. The GMC turns onto our street and coughs up to the curb. Grant's hands stick to the wheel an extra beat. Lena's face goes the color of old paper. Sutton raises 2 fingers in a lazy wave that lands like a gavel. Morning, she says, not loud, but distance does the carry. I sip coffee I don't want and pretend to scroll the news. The mug warms my palm, steadies nothing. From behind the lenses I can feel her watching them watch her. The porch light clicks. Habit, panic, both. Grant kills the engine like it insulted him. They step out, arms full of plastic bags that crinkle louder than they need to. No one asks a question. No one says a name. Sutton doesn't move. She turns a page in a paperback that isn't open. They push through the door. It catches, then slams harder than the hinge requires. The sound ricochets off the neat houses and dies slow. Power just changed hands on our street, and the next move is ours. They'll call me a predator. I can hear it already, whispered across driveways, typed under burner accounts, tossed like rocks from safe porches. But none of them heard her say she felt invisible. None of them slept on the cold side of a warm bed for a year and called it love. I pass their kitchen window and catch a screen glow, Grant's laptop open on the island. Subject line big as a dare. Open house, Sunday. Draft, unsent, waiting for a man to pretend this is normal. Selling the grave before the flowers root. I don't knock. I don't blink. I keep walking because I'm done tutoring denial. Back in my kitchen, Sutton watches me read the air. We're past pretending, she says, voice steady like a level on a board. She's not asking for permission. She's marking the truth. I nod. It lands inside my ribs like something clicking home. The town can pick its names for us. We'll pick our story. I'm not here to win a comment section. I'm here to stop apologizing for being awake. Outside, the HOA truck creeps by, measuring grass and ignoring blood. The porch light next door flips on in daylight like habit can outrun consequence. I pour coffee I won't finish. The mug warms my hand, not my gut. They'll talk, I say. Good, she answers. Let's give them the right script. Decision isn't loud. It's clean. And this one's done. Marin's garage still smells like turpentine and rain. Sutton lifts the old plastic tub from a shelf and sets it down like a memory you don't want to shake. Inside, the old ring hub, a tangle of cords, a flash drive with a church rummage sale sticker half peeled. She plugs it in. The blue light blooms. Folders blink awake. Dates stack like headstones. She doesn't narrate. She hunts. Then a clip opens on its own kind of gravity. Grant's kitchen, late spring. Marin's hospital bag near the door. Lena at the counter, not touching him yet, touching everything else. The way people hover when they've already crossed a line in their head. His hand finds her elbow. Long hold. Small smile. The kind that tells a truth the mouth won't. I don't speak. The room does it for me. The tiny speaker hiss. A chair leg scraping tile. A laugh that isn't mine in the house that isn't hers. Sutton freezes the frame with her thumb. On screen, Lena's reflection lives in the microwave door like she's practicing being a ghost. The mouse click sounds like a gavel. Another file. Another night. Voices drop. Bodies don't. There's no sex on camera. There doesn't have to be. This is the rehearsal. The sheets will just be the encore. Sutton exhales, controlled and dangerous. They rehearsed it. I nod once. No heat, no shouting. Just the quiet that comes when the story stops arguing with the facts. Out on the driveway, a car door shuts. Church lady voices float by. We have what we need. Now we decide what to do with it. Next door lights up like a brush fire. Older man and younger girl on Maple Glen. The headline does the heavy lifting. Comments stack fast. Neighbors you never meet suddenly fluent in your sins. Disgusting. Not illegal. He's grieving. Be kind. She's a child. She's 23. The block splits into juries with front yards. Screens glow in kitchens where supper tastes like judgment. Janet reads a few out loud as she power walks past, voice pitched sweet with vinegar. Men don't grieve, they replace. Another one. If the roles were reversed, you'd call it empowerment. She smirks, eyes never stopping. She likes the heat more than the light. Sutton scrolls beside me on the stoop, sunglasses pushed up, jaw calm. I hear the words more than I see them. They rattle like loose change in a dryer. I give the only line I trust. Truth is a bruise. Everybody touches it different. Some press till it panics. Some pretend it's paint. Sutton flicks the app closed with one thumb, smile cutting clean across her face. Half a curve, no teeth. They'll talk, she says. They always do. A mail truck sighs to a stop across the street, slides a stack into our box and grants. Sun hits the envelopes like a spotlight. Somewhere, a screen door snaps. Maple Glen keeps humming, polite as ever. I don't chase comments. I chase facts. And facts have a way of finding you. The envelope is thick, legal white with our street spelled like a verdict. Return address, a law office downtown. Sutton turns it over once, like checking for fingerprints, then tears along the fold with a steady fingernail. Inside, a single-page letter and a smaller, older piece, lined paper, edges browned, a coffee halo in one corner. The handwriting slants right, patient and stubborn. She reads under her breath, and the paper makes that soft shh sound that feels like someone leaning in. If I'm gone, don't let them repaint my memory. Marin's voice lives in the loops of her M, the careful cross of the T. Not poetry. Instructions. A mother telling the future how to behave. Sutton traces the signature like she's warming a hand that won't warm back. I rest my palm over her knuckles, and for a beat we're just two people holding a line that shouldn't have to be held. The room smells like paper and lemon cleaner, and the last day you got to be a kid. Danish chair, she says, nodding at the note in the margin. That's where they found it. Under the seat, taped to the wood, a message tucked where rest lives. She swallows once. She knew. The porch light next door pops on before the sun even thinks about leaving. Habit, panic, both. I fold the legal letter, set it beside the handwritten one, and feel the ground tilt our way. We don't need to argue anymore. The dead just gave us orders, and we're going to follow them. By late afternoon, Janet plants a small bouquet at the fence line, white lilies stuck into the dirt with the care of someone who's buried more than she's told. A few neighbors drift over, soft shoes, softer voices, the kind of murmurs that pass for courage in a cul-de-sac. The air holds steady, thick with cut grass and things we don't say out loud. Grant steps out first, keys spinning like he's waiting for a different life to unlock. Lena hovers a half step behind, eyes everywhere but the flowers. Sutton doesn't move. She faces them with the letter folded neat in her back pocket and Marin's name loaded behind her teeth. Say her name, she tells him. Grant blinks, swallows, looks at the lilies, then at the fence, then at the faces lined up like a jury that can't agree on lunch. We should move on, he says, voice pitched to reasonable, like the problem here is tempo, not truth. A hush drops. Janet straightens, offended on behalf of the dead. Someone clears a throat. Someone else whispers Marin, small but clean. Grant's jaw tightens like he wants to correct the spelling of grief. Sutton's hands are steady at her sides. She doesn't shout. She doesn't cry. She holds the space the way you hold a lifeline, both fists, no apology. The porch light snaps on before the sun is gone. Good. We were about to need a stage. Lena breaks first, stepping past the flowers like they might stain. She doesn't look at Sutton. She looks at me. "Playing daddy now, Cal?" she says, smile thin as floss. "Or just shopping younger because you ran out of equals?" The crowd leans in. The word younger does that. Age gap, the shortcut people take when the road gets complicated. "Tell them how old she is," someone tosses. "Tell them how old you are," someone else fires back. Grant lifts a palm like he's stopping traffic, but he isn't controlling this street anymore. Sutton doesn't engage. She reaches into the canvas tote at her feet, pulls a small black remote, and points it at the TV we dragged onto my porch for Buckeyes games. One button. The screen wakes. The ring feed fills the glass. Date stamps, kitchen angle, late spring light. There's Lena at Grant's counter while Marin's hospital bag waits by the door. There's his hand hovering too long at her elbow. There's that low laugh you use when you're telling yourself the rules don't apply if you whisper. The cul-de-sac stops breathing. Paper plates from somebody's barbecue go still in midair. Even the wind takes a seat. I don't look at the screen. I've already memorized it. I look at Grant, then at Lena. "It was never off," I say, and it lands like a dropped wrench. No one argues. You don't debate timestamps. Across the fence, the lilies hold their ground, and for once, so do we. Clouds stack over Maple Glen like bad decisions piling up. Wind comes first, flipping the edges of paper plates and lifting the lilies Janet planted. Thunder grumbles from a county over, the kind of warning shot you feel in your teeth. Voices spike. Someone says too much. Lena pivots to throw another line, and her sandal skids on wet grass. She goes down on a palm, a quick scrape blooming red. Half the block gasps like that's the sin we came for. "Call 911, somebody says, because panic loves a script. A neighbor already has the phone out before the thought lands. The street tightens. Then the cruiser slides in with that disciplined howl, blue and red strobing off windows we all thought were clean. Officer Ray Coleman steps out, reins speckling his hat, one hand up, calm enough to make the air obey. "Everyone step back," he says, voice level, not unkind. We do. One collective shuffle, pride and fury stumbling into order. The storm decides it's real, and the first drops hit, fat and cold, tamping the dust, tamping the heat. Lena stands, shakes her hand once, says she's fine, which is probably true and not the point. The siren quiets, but its echo squares our shoulders. The TV on my porch goes black like a curtain falling. Even the wind waits for instructions. Lightning counts to 3 before the thunder answers. It's amazing what a uniform and a sky can do, make a street remember itself, right up until it forgets again. The storm holds its breath. Grant doesn't. He squares up like a man who thinks angles can save him. "Stay away from my daughter," he says, each word welded, jaw set to factory settings. Something in me wants to laugh. Something older wants to break a fence. I take one half step and give him the line I've been sharpening for days. Be a man she can mourn. The sound that comes out of the crowd is small, and with the air punched out of it. Not approval. Recognition. The kind you feel in your knees. Grant blinks once, twice, like a signal got lost on the way to the surface. His mouth opens, then closes, words doing laps with no lane. Ray Coleman watches without moving, knowing better than to referee grief. Lena looks at me, then at the lilies, then at Sutton, measuring a version of herself she can't sell. The rain thickens and slides off the burgundy robe like it knows who it doesn't belong to. Sutton doesn't step behind me. She doesn't need to. Chin up, eyes steady, she lets the silence finish what I started. You can replace a bed, you can't replace the math. Grant tries to find higher ground, and there isn't any. The porch light throws a dumb halo over the wrong doorway. Somewhere a screen door snaps like a verdict. The block doesn't cheer. It just shifts. I hold his stare and don't add a single word. In a town like this, you don't win with volume. You win with the sentence everybody wishes they'd said first. Sutton reaches for the clasp without drama, fingers sure on the back of her neck. Marin's necklace slides warm into her palm, silver and turquoise with a memory still breathing in it. She steps once, close enough to fog the distance, and sets it in Lena's hand like returning a library book that shouldn't have left the shelf. "You can wear her robe," she says, voice clean and steady. "You can't wear her place." It lands like a bell. Lena's grip twitches. The chain pulls against her skin, too bright, too loud. She takes half a step back as if the porch shifted under her. Her mouth opens, then doesn't. The burgundy silk looks smaller now, like it knows it's been misused. Janet swallows hard, the sound a dry click in the wet air. Somewhere behind us, somebody exhales into their sleeve, the grown-up version of a sob. Even Officer Coleman stares at the flower bed like he heard church. Rain starts honest, big, spaced drops that mark foreheads and quiet arguments. The lilies darken. The fence takes it like penance. Sutton doesn't press. She's not negotiating. She's performing a rite the dead asked for. Lena closes her fingers around the necklace as if it might cut. Maybe it already did. The porch light hums over the wrong door, and every face present learns the difference between possession and permission. The rain thickens. Things good at pretending wash down to what they are. Grant's phone shivers in his pocket. Small electricity and a man out of batteries. He checks it, then doesn't want to, then does. The screen throws light into the rain. For sale. Confirmed. The subject line doesn't blink. It doesn't need to. Some decisions sign themselves. He looks up at me like I might argue with the weather. I won't. His eyes are used up, edges inflamed, whites going gray, a man who's been sleeping in daylight and calling it rest. He nods once, not to me, not to anyone, just to the fact that the house behind him isn't a home anymore. It's a story with an asking price. Sutton doesn't cry. She doesn't even blink different. She gives the smallest nod I've ever seen, a yes you could miss if you wanted to. It's not victory, it's alignment, the kind the body makes when it stops fighting what already happened. Rain evens out into a curtain. Grass turns a deeper green, that soaked heavy shade that refuses to shine. The lilies hold. The robe looks thinner. The necklace sits in a closed fist like a verdict cooling. In my head, a line I didn't write repeats itself. Endings don't ask permission. They don't wait for a quorum. They knock once and walk in. No one claps. No one curses. The cul-de-sac just adjusts its shoulders by a centimeter, like a suit let out after a funeral. Somewhere a garage door opens for no reason. We're past the part where this can go back. Night takes the block in one clean swallow. Grant's windows go dark one by one. Blinds meet in the middle like lips deciding not to speak. Rain keeps the rhythm, a steady tap that sands the day down to its edges. Sutton crosses his porch without pausing, shoulders squared, hood down, hair damp enough to darken the cotton. She doesn't look back. She doesn't need to. I open my door before she knocks. No words, just space made and taken. The house smells like lemon and wet air. We slide down to the kitchen floor, backs resting against the lower cabinets, knees drawn up. The tile is cool through denim. The kind of quiet that used to bruise starts to hold instead. Breathing finds the same tempo. A shoulder leans, then stays. My hand on the tile inches toward hers until the distance is not a distance anymore. No speeches, no what are we games. Her head tips, rests against my arm like it's done this for years. Out in the cul-de-sac, gutters chatter, tires hiss by, some late commuter choosing nothing to see. Inside, the clock over the fridge does its tiny work. The storm salts everything it touches and keeps moving. Presence does the heavy lifting, two people who ran out of language letting gravity speak. Later, when the rain softens, we stand at the same time without planning it. The lights stay off. We don't ask for tomorrow. We let tonight answer enough. Morning smells like wet grass and bakery air from a mile away. We drive to Kroger because that's what people do when life needs a handle. Eggs, butter, bread, a bag of coffee we judge by the color of the label. The cashier calls me Hun like I've been here every Tuesday of my life. Back home, the toast goes black on the second pass and sets the smoke alarm off. We laugh anyway, quiet first, then not. I wave a dish towel at the ceiling like that ever worked. It does today. We make the kind of breakfast you can't ruin. Scrambled eggs that never quite match, too much pepper, a slab of butter surrendering across toast edges. Coffee tastes better than it should. The table looks lived in. That's new. After, we point the truck toward Home Depot because dirt is a language grief understands. Soil, fertilizer, gloves, a trowel that feels right in the hand. Sutton slides one glove on and it swallows her wrist. I fold the cuff twice, then once more. It stays. So does she. The sky shows up washed and honest, clouds scrubbed to a dull shine, driveways steam, worms risk sidewalks. The neighborhood nods at itself like it survived something. We haul the bags into the yard and stand a second, palms dusty, sleeves pushed, breathing like the air belongs to us again. No vows, no plan carved in stone, just small work waiting, the kind that feeds you while it fixes nothing and somehow fixes enough. I pull the spiral notebook from the drawer where good intentions go to die. Dust ghosts off the cover. The first clean page feels like a dare, so I take it. The pen starts slow, then finds bone. Love isn't comfort. It's what you build when comfort burns. The line looks back at me like it's been waiting under the ash. Sutton sets a mug on the table, leaves a faint brown ring, doesn't apologize. She reads without asking to, then meets my eyes and doesn't make it a moment. No quiz, no counsel. She just lets the sentence sit where it belongs. We've had enough words that meant nothing. This one earns its keep. I think about all the times I called peace love because it didn't fight back. About the soft lies that make a house easy to walk through and impossible to live in. Comfort's a blanket when you're resting. It's a gag when you're drowning. What we've got now isn't soft. It's lumber and blisters and sweat in the wrong shirt. It's work that faces you every morning whether you feel like it or not. She taps the pen once with her nail. I don't explain. She doesn't ask. We both grin the short kind, the kind that knows better than to promise. Outside, the yard waits. Inside, the page dries. The house feels less like a museum and more like a shop. Tools out, mess honest, something being made you can't name yet but recognize anyway. The HOA reminder pings with that cheerful threat. Please mow by Friday. I've ignored worse. Today, I don't. I wheel the mower out, yank the cord, and the engine coughs itself awake. The first strip down the yard is a confession. The second is a decision. By the third, the lines are straight enough to forgive me. Sutton follows behind with a bucket, scooping clumps, shaking them loose with a wrist flick that says she grew up finishing what other people started. We don't talk much. We don't need to. The sound of cut grass says plenty. Clean, green, alive again. A couple neighbors wander past without staring. One gives a tight nod that isn't approval so much as surrender. I'll take it. Janet swings by in her visor like a parade marshal off duty. Morning, Cal, she says first, like she's awarding me a ribbon for showing up. I lift 2 fingers from the handle and let the mower speak for me. She keeps walking, gossip cooling on the sidewalk. By the time I edge the curb, the street feels less like a courtroom and more like a street. The porch TV is back inside. The lilies have settled. Grant's sign hasn't gone up yet, but the hole for the post is there. A small square of truth cut into his lawn. I kill the engine. Quiet falls in that good way, the settled way. Sutton's hand brushes mine as we trade tools. No ceremony, no audience. Just a yard that looks like it belongs to somebody again, and a man who finally does. The for sale sign shows up before the sun does, staked crooked in Grant's yard like a tooth working itself loose. The truck idles at the curb, diesel breathing fog into a morning that isn't ready. Men in gloves carry out boxes that used to be a life, taped edges, black marker lies, kitchen, books, misc. There is no box for husband or father or what we did. Grant doesn't look over. He keeps his head in the doorframe, clipboard in hand, acting like logistics can cancel consequence. He doesn't say goodbye to Sutton. She doesn't wait for one. Her shoulder drops the smallest measure, a half-inch that weighs a pound. I step behind her and fit a palm between her shoulder blades, right where the breath gets lost. He doesn't define you, I say, just above the engine noise. She nods once. No tremble, no theatrics, the kind of nod that lets the knife all the way out without screaming. A box labeled bedroom splits and a sweater spills onto wet grass. One of the movers scoops it, smacks it twice, puts it back like that fixes anything. The sign clicks tighter in the dirt. The robins own the wire again. The street resumes pretending. Sutton exhales slow, and it sounds like release, not defeat. The truck door slams. The cab lurches. We watch it crawl to the stop sign and signal like rules still run the world. They don't. Not here. Not anymore. And what's left is ours to build or break. September softens the edges. New curtains, different color, same window. How change really happens. Sutton's boxes go from stacked to empty without ceremony. Drawer space becomes our space. The spare room across the hall stays blank, door open, quiet like a field after harvest. We don't rush to fill it. Not everything needs replacing. Nights come earlier and rest easier. We don't trade vows. We trade warmth. Hands found under a throw, a knee against a knee when a show gets lazy. The TV sits low. The lamps learn our names. We cook wrong and eat it anyway. Laughter shows up without an invitation and doesn't apologize for staying. Out back, the old fence still leans, boards grayed and stubborn. It used to be the line where everything we loved went to split. Now it's a starting mark, the chalk stripe before the gun, the place you place your toes when you're done lying down. We stand there after dinner, mugs cooling, and watch the yards change color, the grass settle into fall. I look at that fence and take a breath that actually reaches the bottom. The cul-de-sac hums with leaf blowers and school buses and people who never learned all our names. That's fine. Let the world simplify us. We know the math. Sutton squeezes my hand once. No message attached. The porch light stays off on both houses. The air is clean. The ground holds. Tomorrow brings roses. Tonight brings sleep. The day Marin died last year, the sky looked like wet linen. Today it does too. Sutton kneels at the fence line with a flat of roses, bare roots, thorny little promises wrapped in burlap. The dirt holds yesterday's rain. It gives easy. Her hands go black up to the wrists, hair stuck to her forehead. A smear of soil like war paint across the cheek she never wipes. She sets each plant at arm's length, measures with her palm, backfills slow, presses the earth like she's sealing a letter. She loved roses, she says. I remember, I answer, and the word doesn't hurt the way it used to. I steady the fence while she ties twine to a new stake. The wood is old, but it stands when you ask it right. We water until the ground turns dark and honest. Petals tremble at a wind that means no harm. Sometimes I talk to Marin in my head, a man late to his own confession. We didn't save what you built. We did the next true thing. The house behind us is quiet in the good way. The other house has nothing left to say. Sometimes when everything burns down, you don't rebuild. You plant something new and let it bloom. The roses line the fence, small, stubborn, and brave, like hope that forgot how to quit. The breeze moves through and every flower nods yes. I don't know if forgiveness lives here, but something does. Something honest. Something still breathing. If you've ever lost everything and built again, stay. Because maybe what you lost wasn't the end. Maybe it was the space life needed to start over. Comment, I've been there. If you've ever had to plant something new from the ashes. And don't look away, because the silence that followed us this far is finally learning how to speak.